Alright, so at this point, nobody can convince me that this is an authentic run for president. It simply can't be the case. How can one person endure so much embarrassment and continue to go on? Honestly, at this point, I'm starting to think that Nikki Haley may have a humiliation fetish. Obviously, she knows she cannot win. Obviously, she knows it's over, but of course, she'll continue regardless. Despite the constant public humiliation, because I guess the dollar is so good. The Nikki Haley clown show continues, and the headline for this video is Nikki Haley gets absolutely embarrassed, gets hit with a big reality check on Fox News. We got some stuff to get into, all Nikki Haley. Let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so can we please continue with the Nikki Haley reality checks? I absolutely live for them. Here's Nikki Haley on Fox News, doing her first media interview during the New Hampshire primary.
Coming out of New Hampshire, he won 74% of Republicans. To date, 109 counties have voted, and you've won 2, and one of those by a single vote. When do you start winning Republicans?
Ouch. Ouch. Oof. Now that one must have hurt. But that right there, I mean, those are the facts. Nikki Haley is running to be the Republican presidential nominee, yet Nikki Haley in New Hampshire and Iowa isn't even getting Republican votes. That's the reality. I mean, we covered this the other day.
Take a look at the numbers. Among Trump voters, 70% of them, according to our exit polls, are registered Republicans. Donald Trump, his support, 27% of his voters are registered undeclared or independents. 3% were unregistered before today. Look at how that compares with Nikki Haley. It's a complete reversal. It's an alternate universe. Among Haley voters, 70% are registered undeclared. Only 27% are registered Republicans.
It's the complete polar opposite. Donald Trump is getting upwards of 70% support from actual Republican voters, Republican primary voters, and Nikki Haley is getting like roughly 20%, meaning her overperformance in New Hampshire in the Republican primary comes from mostly Democrats or Democrat-leaning independents. For months on end, she's denied that that was the case. My support isn't coming from Democrats, even though her biggest donor was Reid Hoffman. I'm not appealing to Democrats. I'm a Republican, conservative, through and through. She said that multiple times, but the New Hampshire data does not lie. I mean, what is the purpose of all of this? What is the purpose of continuing? The question I keep asking myself is, what are Republican voters getting from all of this? Well, obviously, big fat frickin' nothing. And speaking of big fat frickin' nothing, another great question is, what is Nikki Haley getting? She's convinced that she stands a chance, that she's competitive, especially going into her home state of South Carolina, but even in her home state, she couldn't secure a Tim Scott endorsement. Tim Scott came out publicly supporting Donald Trump as the Republican presidential nominee, and the data continues to drop. Here's the most recent poll, South Carolina GOP primary, where Nikki Haley is roughly at half the support of Donald Trump. Trump is currently at 58 points with a plus 27 lead over Nikki Haley. Again, I ask myself, what is the purpose? Nikki is looking horribly selfish these days, but I'd argue she's more selfless, as I wrote on Twitter the other day. Selfless, willing to sell her soul to the highest Democrat bidder. But going back to the initial question, what's the purpose? To continue to throw good money down the frickin' drain? I don't understand. Does Nikki Haley think that she's advancing her political stock? I mean, clearly that can't be the case. It's been one big embarrassing moment after another. And now, speaking of embarrassing, as Nikki Haley continues to falter, mostly due to her reputation as a neocon, she's attempting to flip the script by presenting herself as a political outsider, challenging the political elite. Donald Trump tried to use the RNC to deny millions of voters their say in the primary. Sounds like something a Washington insider would do. She also released a campaign ad to her Twitter and wrote, "The political elite weren't ready for me when I ran for governor, and they're not ready for me now." I'm so confused. Now, Washington insider Nikki Haley is taking on the Washington insiders, and the political elite who literally continue to fund her campaign. The only reason she's still going, she has a history of challenging and taking it to the political elite from her time as governor of South Carolina. This is insane. This is no longer a presidential campaign. This is a massive gaslighting campaign, as if we're crazy. We're the stupid people, right? It's unbelievable, and it's unbelievably wasteful. She's now bragging on Twitter that she's raised over $2.6 million post New Hampshire, and this comes after Donald Trump announced that he would be blacklisting any Nikki Haley donors, well, the major Nikki Haley donors from forever donating to his campaign. Nikki Haley raised $1 million since last night after Donald Trump warned that donors contributing to Haley would be permanently barred from MAGA. And so despite the embarrassment, despite reality check after reality check, she's still pulling in dollars and she's still lying on Twitter. She continues to post garbage like this. Donald Trump must be confused. He keeps saying that he beats Joe Biden, but the polls show the exact opposite. She links a Virginia Commonwealth University poll that shows that she's at +5 over Biden in a head-to-head matchup, and Donald Trump is losing. She cherry picks one bogus nonsense poll. Meanwhile, this is the average on Real Clear Politics. I mean, come on. Oh, and I almost forgot to show you guys this tweet. It's a two-person race, and the question before Americans is now very clear. Do you want more of the same, or do you want a new generation of conservative leadership? Nikki Haley supposedly is the new generation of conservative leadership. Nikki Haley is the literal embodiment of Dick Cheney, George Bush, Mitt Romney type politics. I mean, the absolute gall of this woman, it's becoming beyond a laughingstock. The audacity of this woman to paint herself as the anti-establishment candidate, I mean, I can't even start. I don't even know where to begin. It's nothing but delusion and lies as far as the eye can see. I'm looking at the recording timeline. We have more time, so might as well cover this one as well. Nikki Haley shills on Twitter are pushing the latest controversy surrounding Donald Trump. Here's Sarah Longwell who writes, "Trump is a horrible person, absolutely unworthy of elected office in America, but so is every Republican who endorses him." Here's the video that caused that reaction.
Renovation. These are very dishonest people, and you're always fighting them. And just a little note to Nikki, she's not going to win. She's not going to win. But if she did, she would be under investigation by those people in 15 minutes. And I could tell you 5 reasons why already. Not big reasons, a little stuff that she doesn't want to talk about. But she will be under investigation within minutes. And so would Ron have been. But he decided to get out. He decided to get out. Now, Vivek, I don't think would be at all because he's perfect, right?
Nikki Haley shills on Twitter are now trying to present that clip as if Donald Trump is threatening Nikki Haley with investigation if elected. No, what he's saying is that if he wasn't the nominee, if it was Nikki Haley, she'd be the target of pretty much a lot of the same BS investigations, endless investigations, and prying into her personal life as he's obviously been victim to. Totally misrepresenting what he said, just adding to the list of lies and propaganda that we continue to see coming out of Washington establishment circles. Nothing but lies. The idea that Nikki Haley is overperforming, it's a lie. She did trash in Iowa. Her support in New Hampshire came from Democrats. The idea that she's the anti-establishment new generation pick, that's a lie. She's in the freaking pocket of the establishment. The idea that Donald Trump is somehow threatening her with legal action, that's a lie. The idea that Donald Trump is somehow cognitively impaired, as Nikki Haley promoted the other day on her Twitter account, that's a lie. Everything about this woman is a lie. And the idea that she's been pushing recently of having to shatter glass ceilings as if it's harder for her than it is for anybody else is another lie, considering her recent history that's been made public that supposedly, or allegedly, although it's less allegedly these days, it seems pretty much confirmed. In fact, it was confirmed by one of the individuals named in the scandal that Nikki Haley was unfaithful to her husband, committing adultery on multiple occasions. You know, if it was really so hard for her, if she was held to different standards, I feel like people would be bringing that up. Now, wouldn't they? Just like they went on and on about the whole Stormy Daniels thing for years with Donald Trump. But with Nikki Haley, you don't hear a single thing about her long track record of being unfaithful to her husband. So difficult, such a victim. She has the entire media apparatus fighting tirelessly to get her elected, or at least for her to win the Republican nomination. What an absolute farce. But probably better said, what an absolute disgraceful embarrassment. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.